Hello and welcome for I was going to say for the what? Hello and welcome to the Spaghetti Junction podcast. My name is Gareth,
And my name is Bruce.
and there's Bruce. I don't know. We talk about things, and I don't know where they're going to go at all. It seems from the beginning. I don't know. I don't know. I told Bruce that I'm in a strange mood today. Maybe it's too much sugar, or too little, or I don't know. But you're welcome.
Yeah. So we really don't know where this is going to go.
No. Well, good thing is that I began gym. I signed up for gym yesterday. So that was
Oh, you've
cool.
signed up now. Brilliant.
Oh yeah, it's already done. You sign up for 3 years, which is fine. And I'm literally with a little down payment, I'm paying $10 a week. And it's a really cool gym. It's like a minute's walk from me. If
Nice.
that's 24 hours. I'm paying for I'm going to get a personal trainer every once a week for about 45 minutes.
Brilliant.
Just just to get myself going. The goal is to lose the weight that I have. It's not over the top, but it's still it's not great. A little bit of the belly, and then after that, then I want to put some muscle and some definition, which will probably take a long time into next year, but that's fine. So I began.
It takes a while,
and especially the older you get, I'm pretty sure the longer it takes, because our system doesn't break down as much as when you're younger.
Correct. If I would your personal trainer will probably get you onto a program of losing the body fat percentage but putting on the muscle at the same time. So you might actually
that's right.
So as you put on the muscle, you'll see yourself probably gaining weight but losing body fat because muscle's more dense. So don't stress that you're putting on weight. You're like, I'm supposed to be gymming. Why aren't I losing weight? Because you're going to put on as you increase the muscle mass.
Yeah, but I can't. I hear you. Although my where my weight should be is around about 80, 85. If somehow I worked it out, think I'm about on 100. So my weight cannot go more than 100 because that's way too much for my height. It just doesn't make any sense. So I do not see myself putting on more weight that'll make me over 100 kgs. It makes no sense to me.
Okay. Well. Also, you know what? Even if you
exactly. Yeah.
But you'll probably I'm just putting my thoughts together.
Yeah, whatever. You were wrong, and that's okay.
No. Then you'll probably look. It'll take ages to put that type of muscle mass on. So you don't need to stress. But the lean muscle development and all that, that'll sort itself out. But you do that along with but you'll do that with building the muscle as well, because when you build the muscle, you make the muscles work harder. That will burn the fat as well, all that kind of thing.
That's right.
So if you do it all together,
that's right.
You do it all. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Coach.
A lot of guys make the mistake of, no, I've got to lose the fat before I build the muscle. But in building the muscle, it helps you to lose the fat. So that's cool.
Well, there we go.
So you do everything together. But I'm glad. But yeah. Golf.
Anyways, pretty much. No. Or let's get
this. Yeah.
Is that one guy when there's been like for example, a play and it just like fell flat and there's like 150 people there and there's one person who just and then nobody joins you, so you just got to go harder and nobody joins you. It's like right, good, thank you very much, we'll go home now. So today I did about half an hour of cardio, basically on the bike. I just cycled myself silly.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so that
Cool. And how did you?
that was quite fun. It was fun.
Lekker.
I
Cool, man.
tried
At least, yeah. At least.
I tried one machine and it sucked. I couldn't last more than 2 minutes. It's the combination of pedaling and your arms are doing that as well as your pedaling.
Yeah.
So we work your legs and dude, I can't last more than 2 minutes on that thing. So I said,
Oh,
nah.
that's the elliptical
Oh, it's
trainer.
terrible. I hate it.
Yeah.
So I'm not doing that. I moved across to the bike and it's a heck of a lot easier. And then
you know what you'll yeah.
And then I'll get into doing some weight machines as well, which they showed me until the guy who can do the personal trainer thing is only available from next Friday. So I'm just gonna move around on a few of those machines which they showed me, which I should do as well after my cardio, and then
cool. Lekker. And getting into a few body weight exercises will also be good. Getting going with some push-ups.
No. I'm not doing that route, buddy. I don't do push-ups or pull-ups. It's not part of my routine ever.
Why?
Only planks. I do planks until the cows come home. Love planks.
Okay, but why? But why not? Why not the other body stuff?
Because I said so.
That's not enough, dude. I need a reason.
You know what? You see, that's what happens when you give me shit. Are you going to be a good person? Because I don't want to do that again. Yeah. Holds the power in this podcast.
Ooh. Wow.
No, obviously that'll be part of whatever happens with this personal trainer, but yeah.
You'll find as well as you go on and as you learn more and as you'll discover exercises that you enjoy doing more than others, and the thing will change over time.
Yeah.
And you've got to do stuff that you enjoy. You have to look. Yes, it's hard work and it's discipline, but you've got to enjoy the exercises that you do as well. And I don't do there's some exercises I just don't do anymore because I'm like, oh God, I just don't want to do this. So now I've got a routine that works for me that I still look forward to and I know is beneficial. And there you go.
And there we go, people. That is your 7 minutes of how to build muscle. Right. Good. Oh, I have to bring up something before, and it's a WhatsApp from one of our greatest supporters, is Rowan, been with us since the beginning. So we recently had a podcast, an episode about, hold on for me, about electric cars. And obviously the one person that we really know who does electric cars is Rowan.
Yes, it would have been cool to get his input.
You ticked him off, buddy. And I say you because it was mostly you. I'll take a little bit of the blame.
What did I say?
Well, and what didn't you say? So I'll just show you quickly. Rowan doesn't normally write to me. Watch this. Watch this. I'm going to show you how many messages this boy did. You ready? I don't know. Yeah. Oh, no, you probably can't see because of the glare. Anyways.
No.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
So he listened to our electric car podcast and went, very interesting. I can tell you, I don't have one for the green value of it. I've done just over 100,000 miles now in my miles. He's becoming an American. Just over 100,000 Ks, I would imagine, miles in my 2 electric cars.
Oh, he's got 2.
The first question is, how do you drive them both? And for 100,000 miles? That's
Not
awesome.
At the same time, bro.
If you can do that, I mean, heck, you can have whatever car you want.
Yeah.
So he says he has his fair bit of experience. That's 25,000 a year. Yeah. So he says that's 25,000 miles a year for 4 years. So he travels quite a bit. He does. He travels like I was chatting to him, we had a really good chat on Thursday, I think it was. And he was literally to get to one of their new offices. He would be on the road for about 3.5, 4 hours of the day. It's crazy. So he drives a lot. Never once have I run out of battery, and only needed to charge publicly on about 15 occasions, and all of them absolutely no problem at all. Okay, now this is where it breaks down and my eyes get glazed. So charging cost me 7 pence a kilowatt. The battery is 78 kilowatts, so it costs them £5.46 to fill up at home. And I can travel about 250 miles on one charge. That's about $11.77 New Zealand dollars, which is about 130, 140 Rand. For 250 miles, that's about 280 Ks, I guess.
Yeah.
And he says nowhere near the cost that you mentioned. You, if your name is Bruce, mine's not, so it's you mentioned it, Bruce. No, I'm kidding. Servicing is only brakes and tires, so the costs are generally reduced, greatly reduced. Only need doing over 20,000 miles. So servicing costs are way cheaper than a normal car. So from a cost perspective, I challenge anyone to tell me it's not efficient. All right. If you are, however, driving more than 100 miles each way every day, I can see how that would be tricky waiting around for charging. But unless you are a rep on the road, that probably doesn't apply to you. I now have a Tesla. His wife has a VW Charan. I don't even know what that is. It's a 7-seater petrol. My car costs 2/3 of what hers does. It's a myth that electric cars are more expensive. So, boom!
Was that the cost of 2/3 of Mary's car? Is that the cost of the car or the running costs? Did he specify that?
No,
the
not
Tesla. I think it's still quite an expensive car to buy outright.
No, but
purchase
it costs. So no, it's not buying.
So running
the cost of running it, maintenance, everything. The electric charge and everything is 2/3 of what hers does.
Cool. All right, cool. No,
there we go.
That's good to have his input. I mean, he's got more experience than both you and I. I mean, we don't have electric cars, so no, it's completely fair.
The only thing that I still want to bring up is that, and you can mention, message one of us, is that the work that goes into constructing the electric cars, and the danger and the actual metals that have to be mined to create the cars, that's
impact on the environment.
Environment. That's impacting on the environment, no matter what the non-impact on the environment of the driving, but it's the actual creation of the car that needs that special metal to do it that does damage the environment. So I think I think it kind of like rounds itself out, I guess. It basically begins by hurting the environment and then cleans itself up after, which means that it's actually not doing much for the environment. If that kind of makes sense, because the one is damaging, the car in itself afterwards is fixing it, but environmental wise, which is what they're supposed to be doing, and I'm sure I'm wrong. I'm sure somebody will say something, but to me, it kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
Well, not defeats the purpose, but it is when it's. We need to probably get into another conversation soon. But so I'll leave it there. I'm just saying, if to make it and build it it damages the environment to get that certain type of metal. But when you're driving it, it looks after the environment. So it's almost like yin and yang.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's like I did say, it's an amazing technology.
Absolutely.
And if you live in a country that supports that type of infrastructure in a very convenient way, and you don't have sort of the issues, because obviously your own doesn't have any sort of charging issues or anything like that, or struggling to find, all that kind of thing.
Yeah, it works.
That's great.
Agreed. Agreed.
That stuff's not going to happen. That stuff's not going to happen in SA anytime soon.
No.
So
I mean, even here in NZ, I remember when I just bought my new car and I was driving it back from. It was about a 3-4 hour, maybe about a 4 to 5 hour drive, and there was one space of road that literally it was just in the countryside, no petrol station, no nothing. And I remember, thankfully, I managed to get to the next town, but that was a long way away, to fill in petrol, but it was close. What happens if you're in an electric car and that huge gap? Obviously, if you fill yourself right up before, you're okay. My point is, it still seems to be, if you break down, someone can come and bring me a thing of petrol to put in the car.
Yeah.
What are you going to? So many questions. Put them out there. Finish your point, and we'll go into our real topic.
Yeah. Yeah, let's go to the topic. Otherwise we're going to get off the. Otherwise, we're going to talk about electric cars again for the whole topic, for the whole episode.
You're right. Yes, true.
Well,
Rowan,
yeah.
Thank you for that, and definitely some very valid points on that one. It was good.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, it was cool.
All right.
Move now.
Ooh.
Service.
Please remain indoors. This is for your own protection.
Palm Base. Bergen. John, get a squad over to USR and send somebody over to GG's. I think we're going to need...
Hello?
Please return to your home. A curfew is in effect. Please return to your homes. A curfew is in effect. Please return to your homes. A curfew is in effect.
Curfew? No. It's called civilian rights. There is no curfew.
Return to your home immediately.
Well, when do you make the rules, robot? Hey. No. Robot, I'm talking to you, man. Stop this.
What?
Chief, more of those calls, people saying that robots are going.
He means business.
Coming in from New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles. We're being told to urge people to stay indoors as reports are coming in nationally. The robot. Please stay calm and return to your residences immediately.
Please remain calm. Please refrain from going near the windows or doors.
Deactivate. Commence emergency shutdown.
We are attempting to avoid human losses during this transit.
You know, somehow, I told you so just doesn't quite say it.
Yeah, somehow, I like that line. Just doesn't really say it. So we're obviously talking about this whole robot thing going on with old Mr. I was going to call him Mr. Tesla. Well, I mean, you called him Tony Stark, so I guess
You
see Elon Musk.
I've been, so I said to you the other day, he really does come the closest to being a real life Tony Stark, considering what he's achieved. Just as long as he doesn't start building weapon systems, we're good.
Yeah, exactly.
But what he's basically achieved with either SpaceX or Tesla or and obviously this now new his third generation of his Tesla robot that he's developed. It really is with robotics and AI. It really is Elon Musk, and then it's going to be everybody else behind him. I mean,
yes.
I was getting impressed a couple of years ago when Boston Dynamics were doing all their robot development, and I was like, "Whoa, this is amazing!" And then you suddenly, a couple of years later, you see what Elon Musk is doing, and you're like,
"Oh, it's totally different."
And he's overtaking Boston Dynamics.
Of course, he is,
and all that kind of thing. So I can't deny that it's incredible, and it's going to do. I think it's going to be good. I think there are advantages and there are disadvantages to going this route, and that's probably what we're going to get into.
Yeah. So
some of the disadvantages was with what Gareth just showed us on that movie clip.
Yeah. So this is that clip was from a movie called I, Robot with Will Smith.
Brilliant movie.
That was 20 years ago. I watched it.
That's crazy.
I watched it just before we are doing this podcast. 20 years ago. And it was actually a lot of it was based on a book, which is his name is Isaac Asimov, I think his name is.
Oh yeah, he's a big time science fiction writer. Yeah, he's one of the most.
So he wrote a thing on the 3 laws of robotics, and a big part of that plays into iRobot. So here's the 3 laws. It's to prevent robots from malfunctioning dangerously. So in his stories, which is now part of iRobot, the first law: a robot must not harm a human or allow a human to be harmed through inaction. Second law: a robot must obey human orders unless those orders conflict with the first law.
Right.
And the third law is a robot must protect itself as long as doing so doesn't conflict with the first or second law. In basic terms, they are meant to protect human beings and not to be doing any form of aggressive, basically not doing what these buggers did in the clip that we saw. So why I brought this whole thing up is because it's very interesting. That's the movie where it is. They now bear in mind they did that in 2004. Their projected time of what that world looks like with those robots is 2035, 11 years away. And for my thought process, that is going to be close to it. They got it.
Hey?
Not probably exactly 2035, but the fact that it's not 2020, it's in the 2030s is what they were saying could happen. And bear in mind that Isaac Asimov, I think he wrote the book in like 1960 or 1970. Hold on. I find this quite interesting. I had a little I'll tell you right now. Sorry. 1942. He wrote it in 1942.
What?
1942. He was already talking about robots.
And self-learning robots that then.
Oh, yes, and self-learning robots. That's right.
Artificial intelligence, all of that. It's so scary how it's so often that you get authors like that who write these books that are eerily predictive of what we're living in now, or what we're going to live in the next, like you said, possibly 11 years.
And they were
yeah, I
saying
mean,
in this movie, they were saying that it would be one robot to a family of 5. That is
Right.
their and as humanity goes to shit, obviously because of the robots in the movie / the books, they said the robot says a very interesting 2 things. First of all, it says sometimes the created must protect the creator, full stop, even against his will.
Yo. Ooh.
And how they saw and why they were doing what they were doing, they said the suicidal reign of mankind must be ended. So the robots saw that the way that the world was being run, the way that people were doing things, like breaking down the world, wars, famines, everything like that. The robots basically got to a point where, well, if you can't look after yourselves, well, we'll do it for you, and we'll probably eradicate a whole crap load of you because you don't know what you're doing. So they called it the suicidal reign of mankind, which I found a very interesting terminology. Yeah, it's just basically saying that mankind are literally killing themselves on purpose.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because if I think back to watching the second Terminator movie,
oh yeah,
it's got a lot to do with artificial intelligence and robots that learn and whatever. And there's the Terminator, Schwarzenegger's and John Connor are sitting in a desert somewhere, and John turns to the Terminator and says, "We're not going to make it, humans. I mean, we're not going to make it, are we?" And the Terminator turns to him and says, "It's in your nature to destroy yourselves." And I'm like,
yeah, there we go.
And then so then you get this machine race like in iRobot that now determine that the humans are destroying each other, so we're going to stop that, and in so doing, create a world where humans probably become enslaved to machines, which is very similar to what happens in Terminator as well. The machines just take over, but in a slightly different way, slightly different premise. But
yeah, and I don't know within the iRobot thing if they would have enslaved them. I literally think
maybe it's just eradicated.
That's how it came across. So bringing that into the robots that Elon Musk is making.
Yes.
I mean, you saw the clips of these robots. I'll probably try and play it somewhere here. But they're fully functioning, cleaning houses, making drinks. And it goes on. It's scary.
I think it's. I think it's. I feel that it can be scary in some points. I think it's amazing in others. The technology has come to this point. I think, but then you have all these other concerns, like for a lot of people are going, well, robots are just going to take a lot of human jobs. So that's a concern for people. I think people are more concerned about that rather than the whole would the machines become self-aware enough to kind of take over?
Yeah.
But you never know. We're not. I don't think we're at that point yet. But the fact that the like a robot's reaction time can be faster than a human brain when it comes to processing tasks. You're gonna find a lot of the manual labor jobs are going to start being taken over by robots. Definitely, I mean, they are already. Robots.
Yeah, that's going to happen.
Robots build cars on assembly lines. Okay, they're not humanoid robots, but they're still robots.
Oh yeah,
because
they are actually, and I saw it on a bunch of videos on YouTube. There are now, as you say, for example, car manufacturing, places that's fully automated. Like nobody can work there anymore. Like literally, it's closed. and they build from start to finish.
Correct. You've got like one guy sitting in a control room, the one human.
Yeah. Oh, the one which I
basically
saw, it was, I think it was based in China. It was one room, because it was a huge warehouse. They had about 6 to 8 people, you know, on the actual systems themselves. Yeah. And that was it. That was the only human interaction.
Yeah. So, but at the same time, you know, you can, like, if you had and this is where the arguments are going to come in, because if a family has one of these in their home, doing all your menial tasks, and doesn't need to take lunch breaks, can be there all the time, works for like 23 hours on one battery charge, you know, kind of thing. What's it going to cost? About $20,000 for one of these robots. For these, that's what 50. Elon wants. As far as I've seen, it's
okay.
Just check on that, because I understand it to be a $20,000 one-off payment for this automated functional assistant to you that's going to work. That's going to do all of the stuff.
Okay, so possibly as low as,
I think that's what they're hoping for. That's what they're hoping for.
Yeah.
That won't need to take a break, whatever. Or, you know, you can use this to then boost human productivity in other areas, because you're not wasting your time washing the dishes, doing housework, all of that kind of thing. But then that does take away from a human job, you know, that someone would use a salary to put food on the table. So there's these two.
I still don't see them doing your dishes, though, because that's intricate. I don't see those robots actually doing your dishes, like washing with the, and maybe, I mean,
you know what, man? Nothing surprises me anymore, dude. I'm so freaking jaded. I'm like, yeah, probably. That's just me.
I mean, the one thing I saw, which was easier for them, well, easier, but they moved the shopping bags from the car onto the countertop in the kitchen. But now, to actually get to a point where they can cook, I don't think they're there yet, because that's like a very specific.
They're pushing. They're pushing for it. That's what they're doing, because they're wanting it to learn on its own, so that it can assist with stuff like cooking, preparing food, all of those types of tasks. And I have no doubt that it'll get there. I honestly, like I said, I won't be surprised.
So these are these freaky ass robots. Look how they walk, man. It's kind of freaky, though. It's kind of freaky.
The Optimus robots will walk among you. Please be nice to the Optimus robots.
Yeah. To me, it feels like I don't know. It feels like it's that we're becoming less and less human, if that makes sense. I mean, it takes away from our, and also I feel it'll make us lazy. Like why?
That was my thing.
I can get someone else to do it. You're going to get lazy.
Yeah. Look. I mean, look at how lazy technology has made us over the last even 2 decades. I think it started with the television remote control. It's like, oh, I don't have to get up to change the channel.
True. Very true. Yeah.
I think that was the start. Was whoever invented the TV or the remote control, you go back in time and slap them. And now you've got something that's a lot stronger than you that can do a lot of physical tasks that you now don't have to do.
Yeah. It's like literally they were in their lounge and the robot butler brings them drinks. It's like, that's a minor thing, obviously.
Yeah. What would be awesome is if, and maybe this is on the cards, and I think other companies have been sort of doing this, is using robotics to help in a way that people use like an exoskeleton if a person can't walk properly or has physical disability, to use a robotic exoskeleton to enable them to move and live a fairly normal life, literally wearing,
which they have actually made, but they are like super expensive. Yes, on that point, valid point.
Yeah, but it's this. There's so many. They're gonna be huge arguments on both sides of this. Like I said, it is. I marvel at the technology. It's like having come from the most advanced thing in my house was a CD player and a VCR. Back in the early 90s.
Yeah.
And now you see, and now we have smartphones and robots that can learn without really even being. They learn by experience more than anything else. So, I've got to be honest though. The whole thing of the machine sort of taking over, as depicted in movies like The Terminator or iRobot, and that I think might still be a far stretch. I don't know. I think
that's
not
a
too
long
sure
way
if
off.
that. I don't see that sort of apocalyptic nightmare happening.
Really,
I feel it makes for great movies. Don't get me wrong, and I can see how people can be like, oh my word, the robots are going to come and get us. That might be a bit of a stretch, but that's how I feel.
Okay, I really believe that can happen, but it's gonna take the robots. It's gonna take it quite a long time, because you would have to obviously have a crap load of them. But more than that, you would. And why I say I believe it will happen, it could take 20, 30, 50 years, because each update of them, they become cleverer, they become more wise.
Okay.
And I think it can get to a point where they become so incredibly intellectual that I just feel that they might get to a point where they have more intelligence and more understanding than a human does. And when that happens, I feel that the higher what am I trying to say? I just feel that the one that is more evolved, and yes, they are still mechanical. I just feel though that the way that they are already, which is super intelligent, it's like your phones. They'll get an update. They'll get a higher Android thing, and then you'll buy a new phone and it's even better. I mean, to the point where what's it? AI and and ChatGPT is already from where it was a few years ago to what it can do now. This is only 2024. I'm thinking by 2050, 2060, they're going to be super intelligent. So I think it can happen, but it could take excessively long time. Your point also. Maybe it makes for better movies. And I guess also, sorry, I will finish here. It will also, and exactly what happened in iRobot, the people who make it, what are their intentions? So now it's to make the money and it's to make life more easy. But as the years go on, as things get boring, it just takes one or two people who are now creating, and I believe that it could literally get them into some form of fighting scenarios. So that's my thoughts. Maybe it will never happen, and I hope not.
Yeah, my concern, I would start getting a little bit more concerned about it because so going back to the movies, if we look at the premise of what happened in the Terminator movies, the AI and the robotics were placed into military systems, weapon systems, and then you had amazing, all of the pilots were taken from jets, all of that type of stuff, and then these things, so according to the story, these things flew with a perfect record, no human mistakes, no nothing, and the human decision, and that's the one quote from the movie, human decision making was removed, and when you start combining that, when you remove human decision making from something like pulling the trigger on a weapon system,
that's scary.
And then they talk about what happens when they upload a specific update, and suddenly AI becomes completely self-aware, and then that's a legitimate problem. So and it will only take one or two people to people are seeing the potential already. They're going like, okay, cool. See, like the robot, like those robot dogs that Boston Dynamics created.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, cool. So how do we put a gun on its back? Kind of vibe. It's like, okay, now the robot dogs are going to come for you. Kind of vibe.
Yeah.
There's actually, it's quite scary. There's a book that I was reading. I was listening to the audiobook. I forget what it's called, but it's quite an old book. And I think in that book, they actually have robot dogs with guns on them, if I'm not mistaken. I'm like,
Okay.
Jeez. And those robot dogs are a little creepy. I've got to be honest, man. The way they move, and
they are.
Especially if you watch a lot of them moving together and they're in absolute lockstep, it's like,
like
get a bit of a
pretty much
cold chill.
Yeah.
And then you think, and then you can consider another movie that we didn't mention, which was that movie Mission to Mars, with that and there's that robot and this robot becomes this AI robot that's supposed to help the crew becomes self-aware and turns against them, and then they've got to battle this robot that also works on AI and stuff like that. So there is that.
Yeah.
So I mean, look, and we can see this technology. Like, this technology is not going to go away. It is, like you say, it is just going to keep getting better. It's going to keep getting smoother. It's just, oh my word, this is amazing. Oh, it can do this now. It can do this now. It can do this now. Oh, great. The ones that you see where they're dealing with facial expressions, on a lot of these robots. Obviously, Elon's not going that route just yet, but you see the AI robots with facial expressions and actual human faces. And you're like,
that's scary.
So
there's some really cool movies. There's a one called it's a very Hollywood, like a horror kind of thing that they have, I'm tapped into for a while. There's a movie which I actually watched, which I actually quite enjoyed it. It's called Megan. And it's basically about this doll that is created to spend time with your children, and like be their friends, and to get involved in their lives, and to, because I don't know, some parents feel that they need to give a kid a robot anyways, but their specific role, was to spend time with the child, and grow with them and talk with them and help them with the daily routines. And there's many movies like that where the doll, it gets to a point where it takes over and says, screw you parents, screw you child. No, actually it gets like, overprotective, and then basically
right.
does everything which it can to defend that child, and then it just loses its marbles and goes mayhem everywhere. Not
Yeah.
to say that that will happen, but it's like I would struggle to have a robot in the house if I had a family and I wasn't at home.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be a little bit of a
I'd be worried about it the whole day.
yeah.
But
Now talking
hey,
about
that's
yeah.
now. So
Yeah.
we're going
Yeah.
to finish soon, but carry on, young man.
Just on a quick note, if we look at the opposite side of the spectrum with regards to movies containing robots, do you remember Bicentennial Man with Robin Williams?
No.
Now he acted as a robot that was an assistant to a family, but his robot's character developed deep human emotion and fell in love and was cared for it. So that movie, it'd be interesting if you go and watch Bicentennial Man, and then you because it's the completely opposite end of the spectrum. It's this robot that lives forever, watches the family that he cared for grow up, and obviously family members pass away, and this robot just keeps going, and then eventually almost has like a human facade to him when you see Robin Williams as he probably is. But that was a really good movie, with regards to like, okay, you've got this robot working in your house, but it develops such a sense of human emotion that this electronic thing can actually start feeling, like really feeling.
And that's also part of iRobot as well.
Correct. Yeah. And when a robot starts feeling, how much control does it have over those emotions? And or how
I wonder though if it will actually get to the point where they can actually, because because like that's saying that they're on their way to having some form of like a soul or something like that, and I don't know, even if robots are that intelligent, I don't think that they'll get to a point where they have feelings. Because if it is, then we're screwed. Then they will take over the world.
Yeah,
guaranteed.
It is still it's that what makes us human, I don't think will ever be a part of.
No, it can't.
A part of a mechanical. No, because
you can't do that because it needs a soul.
Yeah, no human being can literally go into a factory and create a soul.
No, exactly.
That comes from somewhere else, depending on.
Yeah, so they may have emotions or feelings as to what they've downloaded, and they pretend to have those feelings. I do not believe they will ever have those feelings. It's all pretentious. Yeah. All right. Nice. I want to end this off with a very cool little clip that actually breaks down. There was an original robotic thing that Musk had done about a year ago, and how it's been evolved and brought into what it is now, which I didn't even know about that.
Okay.
So do you want to say our goodbyes, and we'll finish off with a clip?
This has been Spaghetti Junction Pod.
Oh, you broke up there? Nope, you broke up again. Try that again.
Please like, comment, subscribe, share, engage with us in the comments. Oh, what's going on?
Your connection's been terrible. Basically, Bruce is saying thank you for listening and watching, and leave your comments. No one does. Someone leave a comment. But thank you, Rowan, for sending in your comment. And going to end up with this. Have a good day, boys and girls. Good night.
Bye.
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 Bye.